everybody. Welcome to another episode of Buzmen Videos. Buzmen is a great podcast initiative which aims to bring together inspirational stories from across the country under one platform. I'm here today with Mr. Adiraju Raghuram. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Namaste.
Welcome, sir. So tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. Tell us about your background.
About me, well, I've had 22 years of 23 years nearly of corporate work life experience. I've been with the Tata Group primarily all through the 22 years of my work life, and I was part of the engineering team, part of planning and implementation, where my job involved interacting with various vendors, preparing the RFP, evaluating the vendors for procurement. So that was the kind of a job I've been involved in. It's like a telecom IT kind of a job.
All right, sir. So now, like you mentioned, you were with Tata Teleservices for like 22, 23 years, and now you've transitioned completely to the happiness and wellness background. So tell us a little bit about how that transition came about.
That's quite interesting. It's a good question. Actually, I always believe that any spiritual endeavor is for people who are weak-minded, not for people who are strong-minded. So I consciously avoided going after any of the babas and the spiritual masters.
Right.
But once it so happened in 2010 April, we had a workshop in my office
Okay.
that was conducted by Art of Living. And that was the first time I attended any workshop of any spiritual school. I was not for it, but then my friends forced me and said, if you have a strong will, why do you hesitate join? So I took it on. And the first day when I experienced the Divine Sudarshan Kriya, I was totally clean bowled. The kind of peace and serenity which I've experienced was immense. So that was my first, catch up with any spiritual experience which bored me, and I felt completely shaken, and it was very, very calming and soothing. So that's how my journey started. And while working, I kept on doing courses one after the other. And eventually, during the course of my working life, I've become a faculty. While working, I used to take classes.
Right.
That's how the journey has progressed.
All right. So while you were working with Tata, at the same time, you were also focusing on your wellness and. All right. So how
That's
did
right.
you manage to find that balance? I'm sure it must have been a very hectic schedule for you, if I'm right.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, most of my leaves were only for workshops. Like, if I used to take any off from office, it used to be to attend any workshop.
Right.
So that's how I used my leaves to do the workshops and progress and become a teacher.
All right. Right. So now you were also engaged in some of the CSR programs, if I'm right. So tell us a little bit about that as well, sir.
Well, like I've been the CSR lead for my company. Like my management and HR chose me to lead the CSR activities for AP and Telangana. That was in addition to my core responsibilities. I was given the mantle of leading the CSR activities. So, I did that for a period of about 5, 6 years. And every organization usually has a budget for CSR activities. And we had very, niche budget because we were not a profit making company.
Okay.
So we had to do with very little resources, and that was quite challenging. But I was passionate about the activity, and I could create that culture and awareness in the organization by taking along all the people.
Right.
Being in the organization for a long time, that also proved to be advantageous because everybody knew me and my nature. So they came forward and supported. So it was collectively we could do a lot of things. We worked with a lot of government schools, especially girls' schools,
Right.
where we, tied up with the schools and we used to organize discussions for them, which gave them focus on what are the career options, how to be ambitious, how to improve their vocabulary, how to improve their academics, how to be focused. All those things We did a lot of pep talks, and we even helped them to some extent in chipping in the curriculum where the teachers were not regular and absent for whatever reason. So we volunteered and took up the mantle of teaching them few subjects.
Okay.
So that's how it went on, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Very interesting place. Yeah.
So now there seems to be, a lot of people seem to love the word meditation, but we also feel like a lot of people don't really understand the intensity of it and also don't know exactly where to start or how to practice it. Do you have any, words of advice for those?
It's a beautiful question you've asked. Like a lot of people, they don't have clarity on what they're wanting in their life, where they're treading. But, everyone wants to be happy or successful, but nobody wants to be happy and successful.
Okay, right.
Okay. And taking to meditation will help in being happy and successful as well.
Right.
It's like if we go to a crowded place like maybe a Chamina, you'll see a lot of people randomly walking here and there. Right. Now it's quite disturbing if we spend some time in that kind of an area or anywhere in the traffic where the traffic is all the sides going on.
Right.
Right. Our mind also is bombarded with so many thoughts,
Mhm.
whether we want it or we don't want it.
Right.
There'll be thoughts of kal kya hoga, how the pandemic will end,
Yeah.
what will happen if I'm infected, what all the loved ones are responsibility, financial planning. A lot of things keep getting bombarded as I was equating with the traffic and people's movement on the streets.
Mhm.
Now, taking up meditation will have a calming effect where it makes the thoughts synchronized.
Right.
Now, if we go to India Gate on a 15th August and watch the army march past, it's the same amount of people, but it's a beautiful sight to watch it
Mhm.
because people are moving in a synchronized way. So
Right.
that's what happens from a haphazard thoughts. It gets synchronized, direction of what we're thinking, where we are starting, where we are going. There'll be clarity.
Right.
And the best way to begin is there is a basic level workshop which Art of Living offers. That's called Happiness Program. And
Okay.
online it is being offered currently. It's
Okay.
called Breath and Meditation Workshop.
Okay.
Breath and Meditation. It's a 4-day workshop in which we teach certain breathing techniques, pranayam, meditation, and something called Sudarshan Kriya.
Mhm.
That's the crux of the entire program, Sudarshan Kriya.
Okay.
And last day, we teach the home practices, how one needs to practice at home and what needs to be done at home. All
Mhm.
the do's, don'ts will be taught. And thereafter, every week, the participants who graduate are eligible for something called follow up. It's a group practice along with the teacher. So
Okay.
that is available for rest of the life for the participants.
All
So
right.
it is in sustainable
Okay, so they can
support.
keep coming back. It's not just one.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not one-time enrollment where we teach you the things and it's over.
Yeah.
Like participants come back even 6 months, 1 year later and connect and ask for clarification. So we are more than happy to help.
That's quite amazing, actually. I don't think too many people offer that option as well. Now, I have to ask you, what, obviously, apart from the physical requirements and do's and don'ts, what would be, do you think, the main differences between doing yoga and maybe going to the gym?
Gym is also good. I mean, no harm in going to gym, but gym works at one level. It's on the physical level.
Yeah.
When we go to the gym, at least we are getting some physical agility and we become fitter and better. But yoga is much beyond that. It acts on our thinking.
Mhm.
There are multiple layers of our existence.
Right.
Okay, like we teach them in the workshop. There are multiple layers of our existence. The physical form is the body, breath, mind, memory, intellect, ego, and the self. All right. So doing pranayam, yoga, sudarshan kriya, it helps in transcending from the physical level and getting to the self.
Right. Okay.
So it acts in multiple levels where it's much more powerful and deeper.
Right. Mhm. Right. Now, like you mentioned, being in the middle of a pandemic, what would be some of your personal advice to, our viewers on just mental health during these times being, confined to our homes? What would you suggest for some of our viewers?
Actually, it's not just during pandemic, all through the life, mental hygiene is very important. There will be not even a single day when we go to office or anywhere we step out of our house without brushing.
Right.
Because we have made a custom, we have been used to the dental hygiene. People are yet to realize the importance of mental hygiene.
Right.
Mental hygiene is equally or more important than the dental hygiene. So that needs to be practiced. And see, it's like when you have a war which breaks out, you can't go and learn archery.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
दुश्मन आके मार के चला जाएगा. Enemy will come, kill us and go. You
Yeah.
have to be prepared well to take
Right.
on the enemy before the war breaks.
Right.
That's when you will reduce bloodshed. Same is the case when you do pranayam, meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, you learn these things. It equips you to deal better with
Right.
people and situations.
Right.
And some interesting facts, like keeping the pandemic aside, like in a day, each human being breathes about 10 to 13,000 liters of oxygen.
Right.
Okay, and we are not cognizant of the fact that we take in so much of oxygen,
Of
and
course.
we don't fill more than 28 to 35% of our lung capacity.
Okay.
Even an athlete who is, very active physically doesn't breathe in more than 35% of the lung capacity. So
Okay.
this breathing technique which I taught in the workshop helps in deeper inhalation of the breath. Thereby, what happens is our ability to respond to people's situation improves, our immunity improves, and the toxins get flushed out.
Right.
And as per research, about 97 to 99% of the toxins get flushed out through all the rituals. All
Mhm.
right. But 1 to 3% toxins remain in the body
Right.
and they go through only through breath. So, this breathing techniques will help in flushing those toxins also out.
Right.
So,
One of the main, I think, maybe you could say difficulties when someone new who's being introduced to yoga and they're trying their first initial meditation by themselves. I think a lot of people have a little bit of difficulty in just being able to sit still for whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it's required. If you could give our viewers maybe just a small tip on just how to crack that initial 5 to 10 minutes of just keeping your mind still.
again, it's a very good question you've asked. I also had this notion that meditation is sitting stiff and idle, like we have the Buddha. That's how it is to sit. But that's a wrong understanding and notion of the fact.
Okay.
Meditation is the art of letting go. It's not focusing.
Right.
It's the art of letting go.
Okay.
And it's like thoughts keep coming and they keep going. It's not clinging on to the thoughts nor avoiding any thoughts. Like you have the sun there, clouds keep coming and going,
Good.
but the sun is there. Similarly, as the clouds keep passing, the thoughts keep coming and going.
Yeah.
So we don't need to bother about the thoughts. There is nothing wrong or bad about having any thoughts coming up. So it's just sitting idle with spine erect, observe your breath, and for beginners, there are plenty of guided meditations
Mhm.
also.
Okay.
So they help quite easily in getting into meditation practice.
Okay.
And in addition to the workshops which we offer, if people want to try, an online free meditation before they pay and join somewhere, they can try free guided meditations. Like if they go to YouTube and search for Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, they'll find plenty of meditations of Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, which they can just play, sit idly, comfortably, with the back support they can set and palms open to the sky and just follow the instructions, breathe in, breathe out. That's it, nothing more. And the palms have to be open to the sky because we receive energy.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And there are three interesting facts which help in getting into meditation easily. The first one is I'm no one.
Mhm.
I'm no one. So dropping all our tags, whatever tags we wear, we are just removing them for a while for the next 10, 20 minutes of meditation that we do. I'm no one. Second, I'm doing nothing. And third, I want nothing. So when we say these three things and say for meditation, it's like before you start your vehicle, you put your gear in neutral and then you start your vehicle. You don't get a jerk.
Yeah.
So that's how we can equate these three things too. And it's not that for rest of the life you're saying I don't want anything or I'm no one.
Right.
It's for the next 10, 20 minutes of meditation that is.
Right. All right, so well, thank you so much for that wonderful insight. We really appreciate you taking some time out and coming to join us on our short podcast. Before we go, is there any final words you have to say to our viewers? Anything you'd like to say?
I thank you for the opportunity for talking about the mental hygiene and breath. That's very very important. Every human being breathes in. That's the first act of life and the last act of life. As much as the dental hygiene is important, mental hygiene also is important. And breath is the only real partner in our life. I mean, when we ask people what is the most important thing for you, people say my dog, my cat, my wife, my children, my car.
Yeah.
All right. But nobody can live without breath, even for a moment. So breath is our only and true partner. Rest all come after breath. That's the first act of life and last act of life. So it's important to work on breath, and working on breath helps control the mind. So that's the clue. We keep hearing from everyone in life, don't take stress, isn't it? But nobody has ever told us how not to take stress. And what we teach in workshop is precisely how not to take stress. So dental hygiene is very very important. Same way the mental hygiene also is very important, which needs to be worked upon every day.
All right, sir. Well, thank you once again for that wonderful insight. And it's great to have
Pleasure.
you
It's
on
been
the podcast.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir. And
Welcome. Jai Gurudev.
And a big thank you to all our viewers as well for joining us today. Stay tuned for more inspirational stories coming to you from across the country. Thank you for watching, everybody. My name is Roya, signing off from Buzmen Videos. Stay safe, everybody.